Sheesh.
We come as one. 전화송은 여기 모여 모습을 그리고 우리들만의
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are taking a look at Astro's track 1. This is a Patreon request. Shout out to Chris for being my resident Astro requester. I love being able to look at Astro every month. Super fun, and I can't wait to see this. We have a dance practice, a studio Choom full focus, as well as a music video to look through. Let's check it out. I love the light stick in the center too. Woo! Such a surprise at some of these group choices. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. There's so much stability in how they operate as a group, and that's why it's always so fun to watch, because I have zero issues or zero like concerns of, oh, I don't know if they're gonna hit that. They're hitting it and some. Come on. Woo! Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Sheesh. Yeah. Yeah, just take a little breather there. You're like, did we get it? 안녕. Haha! Oh, I love that. That was really, really fun. Gosh, okay. Here we go. We got a full focus version, studio nearly that crisp clean like I've seen from other Astro dance practices. But I've also said too, sometimes the best takes come from the dance practice space. I say that, I still stand by it because that is lived experience for me. Most, if not all, routines that I have seen cleaned or in the rehearsal space, there's always a run based on environment, context, new, lived, you know, what we're wearing feels right, how we feel in the space feels right. We've grown, we've excelled in a technique or something. Sometimes your best runs in emotional state and in physical state come from when you're rehearsing, for sure. So, okay, we got the music video right here. Ready to go. Got to dial it back. Here we go. Let's go. Felt very Power Rangers just then. Love it. Ooh. Nice. I like the tension of the first one and the double it up on the last two. That's really nice. Little nose ring there. I thought he said Riz at a certain point, but he said reasons. Got it. The Riz would work too. A small circle under our feet. We come as... It low-key is giving a Gen 2 setup in the track. It does remind me of Shiny a smidge. I could be so wrong though, and that's okay. It said the moon lying. Was Moonbin the one lying down in that moment? I'll have to double check. Ooh, you can really hear it. Very clean, very clear there. I like Moonbin's top. I'd low-key wear that. That's so cool. Very catchy. Little glittery too. That was cool. Dope with the fun finish. Okay, so part of me feels that they probably would not have promoted this track after the events that have unfolded over the past couple of years. Now, I don't honestly know how active Astro has been since Moonbin's passing, so I really could not tell you any of that. Remember, I'm going off of Chris's requests. Chris has been so gracious to me in this process too, of helping me with context of things as well as we encounter them. But this would be a track I would feel as they continue to promote as a group, now under 4, right? I believe Rocky has left at this point. well, not here, of course, they're still operating as a group of 6. I just feel that this would not be a track that would be used as much moving forward. And I think a lot of it pertains to we come as one. So it feels very unified, like we're tailoring into we are, you know, we are Astro, we are a group of 6, you know. And so when there's different changes like what has happened, it would be really hard to kind of revisit a track like this. I've said this about other groups. I think I've said that about Shiny, that there's certain choreographies that I'm like, I kind of feel that they may not perform this one out of respect to, you know, the time that they've had with all of their members. It kind of feels like that, but of course I could always be projecting, and I do apologize for that too. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about how freaking dope this choreo is from the top. Woo, that was loud, my bad. Okay, I love the cheers there. They're like, let's go fighting. I know there's probably in the back in the tripod making sure, like, trying to be moral support. That would be me. I'd be like, go, you know, but not yelling because we got to hear the track. Love it. Setup here we go. So in the beginning, you would think that it does feel a little bit off. It's technically symmetrical. Well, not symmetrical, balanced, because you have 3 represented on this side of your light stick, which is your center, and then you have 3 on this side. So these 2 are separating or splitting, which is really nice. But you do see it's low key, it's windowed, which I really like. Then you have one of them that is in his own line in the back. Naturally makes me want to focus on him, on Moonbin, because he is the furthest away from me, and everybody else has a sense of a mirror or somebody else is on the same line as them, which I think is kind of cool. And he tends to be our first feature anyway, which actually works out. The subtlety of the head, that you know, that's not the easiest thing to catch in sound, so good job on their part for hitting that. Then you have Moonbin coming in. I love the subtlety. Notice he had his chest and he let his chest kind of lead, and everything else just became a little residual effect. Everybody else drug that leg in. There's your little chest right there from one of our next feature, and he's the only one that's just walking forward. Everybody else does a boom, we come as. It kind of feels like a little, it's a little pimp walk, you know what I mean? It kind of feels like we're here, we vibe, and we're having a good time. It kind of feels like that. I love it. On tempo, and you take it, boom, we come as. They have a nice little ISO going on with the chest, really nice, and then they take it, and it feels like we're about to do like a Charleston or something along those lines, but I don't think we do. We have it crossed behind, our weight's more in the front foot, but our back foot is prepped, ready to do whatever we want it to, and everyone's intentional with the direction of their left hand. Right one is in line. I think with Moonbin, he has it pretty close where he has it in line with the shoulder, and everybody else has it by that chest. So that's a really subtle thing, but it feels like we're kind of controlling right there from our feature. Everybody else, they start boom, dude, ooh. So there goes ooh, matching it with the arms. Really nice. Ow. But they're not going so loud in movement that it does feel like we're going because it's all connected, but it's all broken up. So it's like dots, but you're connecting the dots. So it's kind of disjointed but connected. That's why this movement worked, because it's connected, but you have your own accent points at the tail end of those movements, which is cool. And it goes, ah, boom. I love how they took that with the breath, ah, and then they collapsed it in usage of that chest, which is really nice. Then from there, I love how he takes it and he has a nice little head ISO with the sliding of the foot versus just the feet kind of trotting forward. I love that choice. Everybody else is super subtle. They join in, but theirs is more, you know, unified. His is more deviated, which I love. Then they slow it down. Boom, we come as. So notice they go hit accent, and then they really make it a little bit more tense on that tail end, which I love. Super cool. They goes, ooh, they use that part of the music to get them transition into a new formation, which is right here. And there's your speed change right here. The only person that is not showcasing a similar head, and this is why your head matters in really, really clean choreo, is that if your head deviates in any way, I'm going to want to look at you. He is the only one that is not at this particular angle. Of course, we have a little hand right here, but his head and his position kind of take a priority over my focals. But if he matched everybody else and this hand was out, I'd be clocking my guy right here, which shows you how clean everybody's structure of their movement is. Really well done on the cleaning side. But right there, boom, the side, really nice. They go rotate it over down. Then it goes, yeah. So it actually makes sense why my guy over there had his arm up, because he needed it there to prep into the next position, which is super cool. I love that we have these levels. It feels, it's very easy to see our frame, but we're not having to fight for center on it. It's nice that we're off center. Kind of feels like we have a little check mark there. I really love the vibe of that too. Super cool. He comes up, boom, and then we do a nice little pas de bourrée. We do a little transition out of that. Let me see. Let me kind of bleed it over. Oh, dun dun. So it just really only took 2 steps to reset. So good on everybody on the spacing side. He takes his hand, he drops it. Boom, boom. So he doubles it. Dune, dune. And he creates a fun little speed change rotational moment to the next feature. That's really fun where I'm still wanting to watch him because he's now connected to another member. So it feels like a legit, like he's speeding through and then we're going in slow-mo as we're navigating through his vocals. That's super cool on the texture side of the choreo. And everyone's taking it through. Boom. I love that. Just the speed changes on this are wild. I love it. There's nothing astronomically, Astro, get it, astronomically complex or something that I've never technically seen before, but I really love the setup of it. It's just satisfying every time, and it feels on brand with Astro. It feels just as clean as it normally is, and I low-key can appreciate the choreography more here than I can in Studio Choom. I just feel that Studio Choom and I do not just, we're not on the same vein in terms of representing dance. I just feel like choreographies look so much better either in a concept shoot or in a dance practice space. I really feel like it's those when it comes to Studio Choom, unless it is made for Studio Choom, like in Hoshi's case, or like in the artist of the month, I really feel like these cases, it doesn't feel like we're representing the concept as effectively. But of course, sometimes they come out with a full focus of the choreos way before the groups do. So sometimes I do opt into the full focus shots, but I'm just telling you, there's something about the organicness of tennis shoes in sweats, feeling comfortable and doing the choreo. It just feels like we're looking at Astro in their prime condition in the choreography, and that's what I want to appreciate with y'all, and that's why I like dance practices, is because I feel like we're given a higher shot of meeting that there than on like a Studio Choom vibe, right? Because they can easily correct stuff in the mirror and then they could just be done with the rehearsal and then run it, and it's going to look naturally better than if they transport themselves to a different environment. Because I talked about this with the behind the scenes, I think it was La 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 with Stray Kids. I talked about this in their behind the scenes of their dance practice, because if you're in the studio space, you're like, if you're practicing in a particular environment, choreography, your body's going to naturally want to retain it in that environment. But once you transplant yourself out of it, your body's going to have some foreign choices that are made. That's just a cognitive thing. Well, that can be with anything, not just with dance. And so it's really cool. That's probably why I feel like the best runs happen in the dance practice space, because that's where you learned it. So that's where your brain's going to naturally feel the safest to really push the envelope and take those risks and feel the most comfortable, like subconsciously, is going to be in this space. So that's why I prefer these a lot of times, but I love a good music video. I digress. I love the speed change on that. So it goes that bump bump really nice and quick, and they switch bump 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 bump. So they kept it nice and still, and then the accent to the other side, same degree of accent to bring it and build it up to the chest, really nice. Then we do a little jack donna, really nice, matches this that we did earlier, super cool. Then we boom, explode out of it, really nice. Then we go through. I like the swing of the arms down to create a nice little chug in an envelope, like just taking that leg from a straight to a bend with those legs, and they rotate it around. Boom, filthy on that part. Good God. Okay, yeah, right there, the slide right here. Could we have, I think that's a low key, I would call that a James Brown transition, but not a James Brown movement, because you saw a little heel toe with the slide. That's a lot of times if you add a little legato or a little body roll into it, there's that little head nod, that's like a funky James Brown. But I feel like that just feels like a slide, and we added a heel toe for extra movement. That's where you could, if you practice a James Brown, you can get that transition a lot smoother, like what we saw from Moonbin there. So here's your feature right here. He's facing front, everyone else is facing side. Very clear to know who my feature is. Pick up the foot, pick it up. And now that last one, they accent it to create a really interesting way to get to the front. I think that's so fascinating. Let's talk about it. So we're here. Yeah, right there. Boom. They take the leg and they kick it to the back, and that back kick provides the motivation for the rotation. Normally I see people like chug it, or they kind of create this straight to a bent leg to allow momentum, but they went back, and I'm not used to seeing that from the vantage point that we're seeing. Normally I'm used to seeing everybody face front. They kick to the back to get to the side. Not really from the side. They kick to get themselves to the front. I think that's really cool. Super cool. They go and they drop it down into the cleanest transition. Honestly, new feature from the back. Good God. They go, they hit it, boom. And then they immediately go into this really nice up bounce that vibes well with what they did in the beginning. Oh, that's probably one of my favorite sequences I think I've seen in this entire track, is that right there. That is so impressive that you got everybody to do it so seamlessly that it's just, it feels like it's just That was just butter melted all over that mess. Good God, that was so cool. Yeah, boom, da da da. Even to the extension of the leg was super nice of how they leaned it. Super cool. I like that bum bum, and then they one of them pops up. Really nice. He hits it out. Really cool. Da na na na. Cool. Yep, thumbs up for sure. And then from here, I like that they all branch away, and then you have your feature. We did see him recently featured here, so it's nice to see him featured again. And then I like that there with the arms, so they kind of drape over before they transition across once again. They drop it down, they come right back up. So it kind of feels like we're continuing to build, da 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 da, like waves of movement, not waving technique, but waves of the body. You know, the high and the low, there's a lot of that, and they were contrasting out to inside, so it feels like we have like this rush of energy that's going to and fro that really helps captivate with your feature, but it feels like we're continuing to build, and he doesn't have to do anything to build it. He can just focus on his vocals, and everybody else does the building. Then from here, they're going and they're connecting right here to the center. It does feel very unified, which really reiterates the fact of we are one. Love that. And I like that little twist there with the little breakage. Super cool. To the front, there's your sweeps of the back. We've called those ronde jambs as well. And I like the little body roll that's coming to complement it too. And I like the third one going high and low. And it took up a little bit more time. It feels like we're getting to a sense of a punctuation. What's it going to be? There's your two that are facing, that are near your feature. They take the inside arm, they bring it up and down to create some sense of variety as he walks forward. So he doesn't just walk forward. There's a nice little accent point there. Then that rotation around, could they have shamrocked it? Yes, I don't think they needed to. A shamrock's more of that party move, old school hip hop vibes. But that right there, we're feeling more funk. Like, I feel like we're tying into the more Michael aesthetic. And Michael, I would equate to pursuing more of the West Coast funk scene of popping and locking, more so than I see him do more hip hop. And I think part of it comes from his posture. Now, that could be a heavily debated thing. I'm just going off of my analytics of how I viewed Michael Jackson's movement quality and just what I know and what I've gleaned from who he has featured on his music. I see more of that showcase than I do see like the old school breaking rock and bounce vibe, because they're from two completely different ends of the spectrum. But even, I mean, we can even go so far to talk about James Brown. James Brown, I feel like he's kind of like the father of a lot of these movement qualities that you see here in funk styles. Like, he was a huge inspiration as an artist for a lot of OGs. So if you want to know about like just the music genre to understand a lot of street styles on the West Coast, James Brown is your guy, you know. So now I would say Michael Jackson too. Like, there's a lot of like overlap in some of these choices. And I did recently talk about, it was on Street Dance China, there was choreography done, and they were doing East Coast movement quality to a West Coast influence track. And a lot of people may not understand that there is a difference in community, a difference in sound, a difference in key figures and cultures represented. You can hybrid it. So like doing old school rock and bounce to a Michael Jackson track doesn't fit as effectively as doing locking and popping and funk styles into a Michael Jackson track. You know, it's just, it hits a little different because Michael's on the West Coast as well as an artist. So like, there's so many different things that we can navigate through, but I digress. My point being, there's some of these choices in how they're carrying their posture. It feels like we're carrying like a Michael sense, but we have a funk, timbre, tonal color, percussion. A lot of our sound production feels very Gen 2, which Gen 2, specifically Shiny, this is what it is. Because they have a James Brown, Michael Jackson influenced funk aesthetic of the choreography and how they're doing it. Now, I'm not saying like it's the same thing, but it's similar. Shiny's earlier era of them, because they're a Gen 2 group, their stuff reminded me of that too. And specifically, I talked about Taman especially, and I do know his background, and we can get into that. You can watch my Taman videos of analysis. But my point being, like, there's a heavy Michael influence because of the choreographers that Shiny had in their earlier eras had affiliation with Michael Jackson. That's why there was an overlap, right? You have like Rito Nakasone, you had Tony Testa, you had the choreographer for Are You Serious? Or Why So Serious? You had, I mean, that's just at the top of my head. There's so many choreographers they had, and there was a lot of Michael Jackson influence. Ian Eastwood also too. So I think that's why this feels very Gen 2 Shiny niche is in the choreography. I think that's why. And I'm here for it. I was living it up in the Shiny world. And so I am living it up here with Astro, but love it. I love it. And they take it through. I like that. Boom, nice step. Of course, you can see the shake of the camera. That's cool. It shows that everyone's unified. Good reveal. He's the only one looking at us, so we naturally want to look at him. Love the speed change here, good tension. You can tell there what's supposed to be a choreographed arm that's tucking on the hip. You can see that over on stage right, which is this side here. My two guys over here, I feel like we could have gotten that arm where it needed to be, but it's so minimal. Who cares, right? We can appreciate this for what this is. And then they take it through, ba, 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 ba. They go low, they come up, really nice. A higher tone here, boom, boom, boom. Really like that. And then they bring it back in. I love that. Rolling it down. Nice little kickball change. Is that a kickball change that I just saw, or did I just make that up? Oh, so it was just, they just reset the foot. It's not even a kick. They just reset the foot. They ball changed it, rolled it to the outside. Then they come right back, framing it to the outside in the pool. I like with my feature. He makes it a little bit different, but he ties it back in to get everybody on the same page. We're ready. I love that hit, boom, kick right there. Normally when I see like a accent with the chest with those kicks, I'm normally used to seeing like a pelvic accent. It's a very Michael thing, right? Love it. That right there, boom, boom. Yeah, guys, we're seeing some overlaps here. I am here for it. Gosh, I love references. So they take it, I love the turn on that. They take the leg and they give the illusion that the leg is dragging across the floor. Could that be a compass turn? Possibly. It's when you keep a leg out. Love that choice. I love the subtlety and the stoicness of movement there. They go and they set out. I really like the pulses with the foot. Really nice. Of course, I would see people with their head not on that. I don't think they did though. Oh, I missed it again. Oh, so they're kind of pulsing it. Normally I see people do a little rock with the head on the back. I think it was probably communicated we're not doing that because we're progressing, we're focusing on the arms, and we're letting the torso match what's going on with the leg because they're closer in connection and easier to clean, and versus in letting the arms do what they think, because having the head involved is going to make this trickier to get on the same page. So that's cool. Then they go boom, really nice explosion here in the collapsing slide. That was nice. Instead of keeping it up and confident, they dropped it down so it feels like we have a weightiness to the part of the music that we're in, which I really like. It feels like we have some depth here. I'm sorry, I keep like fluctuating the sound because I just don't know the sweet spot because I want to hear it, but I don't want it to be so loud that I have to talk louder and then it just feels too loud. So we'll just deal with this sound for now. But right here, I like this. They take a boom, nice little swivel effect right there. Boom, boom, really clean on that. And the pick up at the foot, really nice. New feature, he comes in, boom. I really like this accent that he has here. Everybody takes their arms up, they drag that foot, and they take it, they make it more of a rotational effect to make it nice and tall so they can have a bigger contrast as they set it up in a lunge. Then they go hit, hit. I normally am used to seeing like a pelvic thrust on that, but I don't mind just the step with the hand. It does feel very like Boys to Men, you know, that kind of bounce aesthetic. It's fun. And also with the ba, ba, there's not a ton of sounds that justifies that bigger rock. I just feel that because of predictability and what I'm used to seeing when people do that move. So I love how he builds it up. Yeah, subtlety, boom, two, and then we double it, and we're taking that foot and we're pushing it out more and more, so we're actually getting more ground as we step it out, and it's going to allow us to travel forward. Good feature on the side on stage right. Then we slide in. I love the little swing of the arms as we bring it up, and then we cross it over. Yeah, with the points, and then we drop it out. Really nice from our feature. He comes up, they go out, boom, really nice on the speed change. So a great angle represented. You have your feature right there in the center. He turns, cool. That bump, it's still balanced because your feature is tailored to one side and the other members are on the other side. So you have, you have a little group of three here. Whoops, that's a group of two. He's three, but he's technically on this side splitting center with one of the other members and then two others. So I love it. This is cool. I love that we're keeping balance even though we want to really showcase a feature. So the pulls are good. That was super nice. So he goes with the chest, and then they have their chest, and they're using the leverage of going up onto the balls of the feet to make it create more height versus having to hinge it. They don't need to. They're using height of the releve to make that happen. Super dope. They're bringing it back in. Boom, we commence. Ooh. Boom, we commence. I love that choice. And that right there reminds me of this particular, second position squatted chug action, but it's more, there's more tension and we're switching from one side to the other, but it feels familial, like it's in the same family of movement. But I like the boom, we commence, boom, other side, and really cool. And one, it makes sense, we come as one, makes sense that they're all dancing together in unison because they're showcasing a unified front. So I appreciate when unison, like I talk about this whenever you hear a lot of people singing at the same time, unison feels more justified because there's more voices to represent. And so that makes sense, right? Logically speaking, if you're thinking about number of voices to amount of movers in the space. My brain sometimes operates that way. You don't have to think that way, but sometimes choreographers think that way. And then in other cases, when you have the using wordplay, we come as one, we are a family, we are unified, or like we're doing a chant or a war cry. Normally you see unison because it showcases that we are doing this together as one, right? So I like the fact that we are doing unison for that part, because they could deviate it, but I'm glad they didn't. So the nice little transition here, right here, back to unison. Boom. Going from one side, notice it's flat, and then we turn it into a fist. So we're still progressing it in the hands. Then we come one, so I like the little chin up, one, really nice. Then we come right back in, and I like, once again, boom, accent, and then it feels like we're in an elevator, speed change low. Really fun conversational moment from our feature. And it's I really like it. Kind of feels, more of a whisper. So I can see him with a microphone really going for it here, where it's like, pay attention, kind of gives that subtlety of like, I don't want to really say, I don't want people to read my lips, so I'm going to speak quieter. It feels more intimate in that sense. So I love how they dropped it a low and then they really nice peel around to match his speed. I love that. And I like he goes here and it goes boom. I love the accent there. That's where fringe matters. So if you have hair, boom, the accent's really dope there. They transition out. They take the arms, they accent it down to do a really nice second position squat. Super cool. Arms are dropped down. He's still up. He comes up, and I like how he builds it. And notice he keeps and maintains spacing in his legs in his transition, so he looks the same as them, even though his transition's a little bit more further than everybody else's. But he's still deviating, he's still a feature, but I really like at least the lower body is on a similar playing field. It makes it still feel connected in some way between our feature and our members. I like that click, 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 and I like what he's doing with his feet as well to complement that. Feels very, internalized, super fun. Everybody's going to the inside. They go tap, tap. I love that. Super cool. And says, hey, let's go. Then you have your two come in. But then it's joined into a group of three. So Moonbin had to go wee, had to travel pretty quick on that. They go step, step there. I like the swing through. Kind of feels like we're about to do like these kinds of setups remind me of having to do milli rocks of some kind, but I don't think they do that here. But I like the choices that they're doing. Take it through. This is honestly the least clean section, but it doesn't really feel that unclean. It's because some of their swings with the arms, their setups of the elbows are different. Even there in our feature, he's not deviating enough. In my two, like Moonbin and my other guy, they're not quite doing it the exact same way. That helps me see the deviation of our feature, hence why it doesn't feel as clean, but it's so minimal, who cares, right? I really feel that way. Yeah, he does a little milli rock to the back. Okay, that makes sense. The pull there, I like that subtle trace there. That tension is nice. They build it back, boom, and then they hit it. Nice little old school, honestly. Kind of drip it over to the side. Really fun. Hitting it through, boom, da da da, and I like it. Nice little shake happening with our guys. Really cool. Subtlety, boom, they all go to the inside. Boom, fun little dynamic. Boom, and as they move in transition to a new spot, the rotation right there. I love that they use the arm. This arm is more glued to right there by the chest. This one rotates around. You have to use your back. It's not just about your arm. Your arm's connected, and you have to use your core and your obliques to get this rotation around. The arm is connected to the leg, and that's how that movement is able to work. So the leg has to operate the same way on momentum, and then you can deviate accordingly after the rotation has begun. So I love that. I like that one. Subtlety there. It matches what Moonbin did earlier. And there's their pulses once again. Boom, boom, boom. Just as consistent as it was the first time. And there's your collapse out of it. Nice. And what's really cool too is the fact is, I would say my two guys, they are different in tone for this section. So that's why it naturally feels a smidgen different. Even if the choreography is the same, it's because the tone represented is not the same. And it feels a little bit, kind of, one feels a little bit more hopeful, one feels a little bit more, like projected. It just depends on, the pitch a lot of times. And not pitch, because they're technically in the same pitch, but it's just the tone. The tone just sounds different. But the choreo looks the same, and it's fine. For me, I just appreciate the easy digestibility of it, but the captivation of it too. The switch it, boom, boom, da-da-da-da. Right, so they go bring it around. I love the pickup, and then they switch it over just like they did before, just different order. That boom, and he goes tap, tap, nice. That one, they goes one, and then they double it up. Then you have Moonbin join in too, and he pulls out. So I like that choice. I like that swing, swing up, picking it up, super nice. Hit, da, da, da. I really like that where they cross it, and then they bring it over to the side. And then your speed change once again with your reveal. Little tap, tap. He's the only one that does it, and everybody else is still in that moment. Pull, pulls. And then there's your chest. He's the only one. He kind of still stays together, but he does the chest to the same degree. So it looks pretty clean in the upper body. You can really tell he's your feature in that lower body. And I love that. And then we're right here, back as one in unison. Yep, I like that little pull from my guy right there. Super cool. We come as, then we go, and boom. And then from there, I think we twinkle it. I don't know if that was the same as the first time, but I like it. So they go and they twinkle the trace, where the trace is this part, and they twinkle it with the fingers. I like that. This is nice. So they boom. Really love that. Now, okay, so I understand that he is leaning back. He's talking about the moon, though. So part of me wishes that they had Moonbin leaning back, and he was just pulling the energy. I wish he was over here getting the energy. He's like, give me the energy, and Moonbin is the one laying down. That's just my personal wish, because it's specifically talking in lyricism that way, but I digress. I like the fact he's leaning back. I love the commitment there. Do I think that range is slightly off? Yes, I think they were able to go further than my guy right here, because he has a liability of an actual human on his back, so he can only go so far without getting too much weight, but also he has to make sure he's able to sing for this part too. So that would be, you know, a subtle range thing, and you could tell based off of spacing. Maybe it would have helped if Moonbin, I mean, his arm was fine, but if he had this arm connected in some way, it would have bridged the gap and made it feel better in comparison to what's going on right here, where there are arms connecting with all the members. I think that that arm connecting to my guy right here wouldn't feel like there's such an empty space that wasn't there before the start of that movement. I think it's that more than anything. It's so subtle though. So he goes, he has his moment there. I like that part. What just happened? There was something subtle. Boom, boom, boom. So we get one person and then another person come out. He comes up and Moonbin is still, but he has stepped back and allowing for one of the members to go through. They go in, boom, boom. I love the little piano we hear, and it looks like they're being played like a piano. Moonbin pops up, boom. And he goes, he takes it out, nice shoulder, a little rotation there as they go and reset to the front. They walk, really nice. He goes, pull, da-na-na-na. Going through, boom, boom, boom. Love that. That looks super cool. They roll it down, boom, boom, boom. Ow, I keep hitting myself. I need to do better. But they have an every other going on here, but you have your feature in the front, so I like that. The commitment of the arms looks the same, and the torso is rotated, which is super nice. So that range is even better because their torso already committed first. It's not just about the extremities, it's about your torso is what determines direction a lot of times. Just like when you do an overhead, it's not about the wrist as much as it's about the elbow to determine your direction. Princess Lockaroo said that, and that's what we live by. The pull throughs are really nice. I like that choice. We come in. I love this. And here comes the dance break. We're ready. That part right there. I love that little doo-doo where he kind of cuts underneath himself instead of doing a pas de bourrée. He goes dun-dun-dun-dun, syncopates it. Super cool. Right there. Here we go. Now we have a lot of heaviness in our steps. Really cool. I love this right here. It kind of feels like we're doing, you know, we're doing a little wave integration into that. Really fun. And from there, it kind of feels like a roller coaster, letting the chest, locking the arms in to rotate us to a different angle. Super fun, that little boom, boom, do-do-do-do-do. So it goes, and he uses his leverage of rocking forward in order to allow those moments to happen with the feet. He goes tap, 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 tap on the tops of the feet there to match that part of the music. So fun. I love the absence of what everybody else is doing there, though. So they're still, he has his moment. Yeah, da-da-da-da. So he ends up not doing both to the back. He goes and he kind of separates it. Da-da-da-da. So he still hits it. And then they all accent to match and get everybody back on the same page. I love that uppercut with the rotation of the back. So you see a different vantage point, different direction, but just the same degree of fullness. Then from there, I love this part. Good God, this is a dance break where there's a lot of risk taking that a lot of times would make it really hard to sing if you were to do this during a verse. So they take it, they have their arm up really nice, and they make it a super fun low-key layout almost. Not like layout acrobatics, but like when you're like laying your upper back out. Goodness gracious, super cool. And it's get do-do-do. It does kind of sound like a gunshot almost, so like having a holster or something, it kind of feels like that to me. But I like the accent using the legs to make that happen. You have your feature peekaboo from the back, or maybe he wasn't supposed to be seen and we saw, or we were supposed to see him because of the level and how low our front person was. But I like the shoulders as we slide up. We hit it through, boom and a boom. Really nice on the chugs on that. So they go switch and then they put them together. Nice little march as they go through. There's your little Michael influence sound. Super fun. We come as one. There's one really nice. Oh, the we come as one reminds me of a So curious, yeah. Like Sherlock is what that, but it gives like that oneness of another track that they have. I think it's a Japanese track. I could be so wrong. I watched a live of it. That's how I know kind of ballpark on all my analysis. It's a live one and they make a star in the formation. That shiny one. I don't know what it's called, but there are lyricism in there that does talk about them being a group of 5. Just like here, we come as one. It's just, I just think it's very weighty to want to do this like in today's time in comparison to back then. Just for, you know, a lot of things that I feel like a lot of us already know. And if you don't know, you can glean comments of Astro and I feel like you would understand very quickly. But from here, a little tap there, really nice. And then they step the hit. I like the pull there and everyone's commitment with their head. Super fun. I love this where they're taking the hand and they're doing a nice little trot on that. The slide through, I like the transition out of that as well. Super fun. Hitting it through, boom, boom. Nice rotation, good turn. Very clean on that. So far, like I said, very clean, very stable. So a lot of their choices on the balls of the feet, I don't see them when they're on one leg, you know, shaking or their weight keeps shifting on the foot. That's how you can tell we're not stable on our leg. But here in this case, they very much are. That turn into the jump out right there, into the squat is really nice. Hit in the slide. And then, of course, you have your feature, do something slightly different. He goes, one, and everybody else just has their good moment. Then they do a little ball change to get to a new spot. Here we go. TT, I love that, where you just have moon bend, click, click. He doesn't do anything else, just showcases himself, and everyone goes doon doon to reset. Really nice. That part is super cool, where he takes it, he rotates it in. It feels like we're doing a butterfly, but not quite. We're just inverting the knees. You can call it a W, like in popping or something along those lines. But I like the body roll, where he takes that hand, and it allows those knees to be influenced and rotating around to make that moment happen. They hit it through. Really like that choice as well. He has his own moment. Boom, boom. To the hand, and then he rotates it, boom, to get everybody else on the same page. We already saw this kind of rotation from another feature early on, but this is, for me, the first time I'm really seeing it super connect with what everybody else is doing. So that's cool. I like the reveal where they all kind of move subtly out of the way to get him to fit right back in the formation in a different spot. It just kind of feels like they keep readjusting this puzzle, but they keep fitting in it just perfectly in their formation choices. We come as, boom, we come as. Now, it does feel, some people are going to want to ISO it. I would, but I like the fact that we have it nice and unified, where it feels, you know, more of a residual push and pull of the torso in comparison to what's going on. It feels more weighty versus like we're adding like a huge rock into it. Feels like the accent does come from the legs, which I like. And by not having so much going on here, you can appreciate the buildup with the arms. So I appreciate choices when you see how intentional they are, because it leads to other focal points being showcased more effectively by resisting adding extra rocks or ISOs that normally would go in these movements. So I think that's super cool. Then right here, that doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, that part feels a little different, where there's a little body roll from our feature is what it feels like there. I like we just kind of slapped ourselves. I think that was kind of cute. That was fun. Boom, I like the snap down when we pick it up. So I like, it does remind me of like a little Charleston vibes, just a smidge, just in body roll, but not really anything else. But I like that. They hit it, boom, up. We go and we slap it back. I like the little tap of the foot, so it feels like we get some height, a little bit of a hop in there. We move there. I like the scoop from some of our guys to get in the transition. So we had some that went high, some went low, but our transition was nice and mirrored, so it felt complete. Then there's our subtlety here, boom, and then that rotation. I love the quickness of the direction change, really impressive there. Then we come up, boom, and we step, ball change, we pull. Once again, they're not really focusing so far looking to the front, which feels like we really practice, where I don't have to look at others through the mirror, or I have to look at my neighbor to know if I'm doing it right. I understand it enough that I can hold my own. There's so much confidence and maturity to be held in that, and I love seeing it, just in dance in general. It's so nice to see, and I love seeing it here. The little tap there, tap, tap, and then they go and they reset down. You can tell with one of them, they really swing that arm up. Some keep it a little bit down. So they go, they prep it, they rotate it around. Really nice on the landing on that. Some of them landed way more full than others. His rotation was freaking sick though. It's super cool. The walks there on tempo, let's go. They hit it through, boom, over to one side, and then they go and they hit it up to the other side. You have your feature in the front. He twinkles it in, and they go, ooh. Ooh, cool. And this is technically your first uneven, unbalanced formation, but it's at the tail end, and it feels like a very intentional. There is a reason why we have this formation the way that we do. It is not because the choreographer ran out of options. This was intentional, and I can get behind it. Ooh, does it make the number one? Not really. I don't think so. But I like it. I just like the choice. Ooh, and they finish nice and stoic at the tail end. And then they finish down, and then of course they wait. I love the fact they didn't even wait for it to start over. They said, okay, we're done. Let's collapse out of it. Exhausting. Real talk for real, no matter how clean, how physical, how, you know, like the subtle tension type of vibes. It can just be tiring to do anything for 3.5 minutes. It's just, it's hard. But I'm really proud of the fact that they were able to do it, and it didn't look like they were fatigued in the slightest from start to finish. I never once caught that on any of the takes. And so shout out to them. This was a fantastic run. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Chris, as always, for the Astro recommendations. I love taking a look at Astro every month in this way. It's just so fun to be able to just celebrate their movement qualities and the different vibes that they bring for everyone that I've taken a look at. If you want to see more Astro, or if you want in on influence of what I look at as an analyst or as a choreographer, I have a lot of polls that do get released on Patreon. I think at this point in time, the tier that Chris is on, where you get to request something every month, is full, but that doesn't mean there's other options that aren't going to pop up in the future. So always check back, always look. If you just want early access to things like this video, I never know when Patreon requests make their way to YouTube. Sometimes they take a day, sometimes they take weeks. So if you want access to content like Astro immediately as I record it, Patreon's a really great way to watch and make that happen. Once again, my name is Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.